Good morning, Gary from G&H Honeybees. And it's November 25th, 2021. It's about 6 degrees Celsius outside, and so the bees are all clustered up keeping warm in their colonies, so there's not much we can take video of the bees. So I thought I'd throw this out here for you to look at. I had an excess amount of honey from the harvest this year, and so I thought I'd try my hand at making mead. And so I looked up on the internet how to put together some mead, and I started off, I didn't have much equipment to start with. I borrowed some bottles and stuff from my stepdad, and so I threw together those first two bottles on the left. And the first one, very first one on the left, is what they might call a traditional mead. It's basically nothing but honey, water, raisins, and active dry yeast. And the second one on the left is honey, water, about maybe half a cup of wild blackberries that we picked from the bushes in the backyard, and a tangerine that's been sliced up and put in there. And of course active dry yeast. Now I didn't have any winemaking yeast to begin with, so I ordered some and it came in a little later, and so the two bottles on the right are basically the same mix as the first two bottles, except it's got champagne yeast in it. Now the type of yeast that you use, from what I understand, will produce a different amount of alcohol content. So the two on the left, because it's using active dry yeast, will get to about 10 maybe to 12% alcohol, because that's the tolerance of that yeast to alcohol, and that's when the yeast will go dormant, so it won't produce any more alcohol. And the champagne yeast that I use that's on the right has a tolerance of 18%. So its alcohol content should be higher than the two on the left when this is all finished. Now I started the two on the left on the 8th of November, and the two on the right on the 14th. So the two on the right have been going for 11 days now, and I don't know if you can see the bubblers, but they're bubbling away, and they're producing CO2, so the yeast is active. And maybe in that second one on the left there, you can see near the bottom there's what looks like a white line at the bottom. That's something called lees, and that's dead yeast, active yeast, and stuff falling out of the solution and settling on the bottom. Let's see if we can get a close-up. I don't know, you can see the bubblers. Now you're supposed to keep this in a warm, dark place, so the video is not going to be very clear. I'm trying to use the best camera I can to get video of this. So I'm going to try and do a close-up on the bubblers, or the airlocks that they call them. And see if we can capture some blurps coming out of there. The weather has been kind of atrocious this year. Last week we had torrential downpours. We had major floods, roads washing out. We had fuel shortages because people were going crazy just buying all the fuel they could. Store shelves for food were starting to get bought out. and everything was kind of nuts. And we even had a few people that were killed because of mudslides coming down and just burying them in their cars under, you know, a mountain of debris and mud. And a lot of people have been displaced from their homes up in the mainland. It's just a bad situation all around. And the next few days we're supposed to get more of that. And we're just starting to recover from the torrential downpour that we had last week. So at the end of this video, the main video, I'm going to attach close-ups of those first 2 bottles that I got a few days after I started the mixes of the actual bubbling action going on inside the bottles. But you can see that the bubbling, the airlocks on the top there are blurping out. That means that CO2 is being produced, the yeast is active, and it's producing some alcohol. And this could go for, you know, 5-6 weeks the way it is now before we do anything else with it. One thing I've noticed is that the active dry yeast, the 2 on the left, seem to be way more active than the champagne yeast on the right. I mean, the ones on the right are producing CO2 and bubbling, but they don't seem to be quite as active as the ones on the left. And I don't understand why that is, but like I said, I'm new at this. I've never done this before. So hopefully everything turns out okay. I'll do a follow-up video later on when the solution starts to clear up and the bubbling action stops. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do after that. Alright, so I just thought I'd throw this out there, let you see what I'm up to, and I hope you're all having a good day and staying safe and happy. Stay tuned for the 2 close-up. They're little short clips of the bubbling action going on in the first 2 bottles, and we'll catch you again on the next video. Bye for now.